Hello everyone. Welcome back to another deep dive English learning video from SLO English Stories. Do you want to master English faster? Do you want to speak with the rhythm and flow of a native speaker? Then this video is designed specifically for you. Today, we are using the advanced shadowing technique. I will tell you a long, beautiful, and detailed story. Listen carefully to each sentence and then repeat it immediately after me. Try to match my tone, my speed, and the emotion in my voice. This technique doesn't just teach you words, it trains your brain to live the language. Are you ready? Let's begin. My name is Emma Miller. For a long time, I thought my life was already written for me by someone else. This is the story of how I broke free, followed my heart, and found a love that was standing right in front of me all along. I am a young American girl, raised in a world of luxury and strict expectations. I grew up in a massive, cold, and quiet house with my father, Harold Miller. My father is an incredibly successful businessman, known for his intelligence and his hard heart. To him, the world is a series of deals and contracts. To me, the world was a library. I loved to study more than anything. While other girls in my circle bought dresses, I bought medical textbooks. My biggest dream, the one that kept me awake at night, was to become a doctor and save lives in places where help was hard to find. In that big, lonely house, I had one constant light, my best friend, Jake. Jake Miller and I have been inseparable since we were 5 years old. We played in the gardens of my father's estate, shared secrets under the old oak trees, and promised to always look out for each other. As we grew older, nothing changed. Jake was always there to carry my books, to make me laugh when my father was too stern, and to listen to my dreams of medicine. We went to the same university together, and every day felt like an adventure because he was by my side. One afternoon, I returned home from a long day of biology classes. The sun was setting, casting long orange shadows across the marble floors of our hallway. My father was waiting for me in his office. He didn't look up from his desk at first. He looked more serious than usual, his face set in a mask of professional determination. Finally, he spoke. "Emma, sit down. We have important matters to discuss." My heart began to race. He told me that a very important business partner, Mr. Sterling, was merging his company with ours. To seal the deal, Mr. Sterling's son, Arthur, was coming for dinner. "He wants to meet his future bride," my father said casually, as if he were talking about a shipment of steel. "I have proposed a marriage between the two of you. It is the perfect union for our families." I felt as though the air had been kicked out of my lungs. "Why would you do this without asking me?" I asked, my voice trembling. My father simply replied, "Because this marriage is the key to our future success. You will marry him next month." I tried to explain my dreams, my studies, and my youth, but his heart was a closed door. "Love is for novels, Emma," he said. "In the real world, we choose stability." The dinner that night was a nightmare. Arthur was arrogant and talked only of money and power. Nobody asked me what I wanted for my life. I felt like a piece of furniture being sold at an auction. As soon as the guests left, I locked myself in my room and called Jake. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. I told him everything: the deal, the wedding date, the end of my dreams. Jake's voice was a low growl of anger. "This is terrible, Emma. He can't own your life." I cried into the phone. He already plans the wedding for next month. I feel like a prisoner in my own home. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. Then Jake said firmly, "We need to think of something. I won't let this happen to you." The following weeks were a blur of white lace and wedding plans that I hated. Every day felt like a countdown to the end of my freedom. The night before the wedding finally arrived. I looked at the expensive white dress hanging in my closet. It looked like a ghost. I called Jake, sobbing. "Jake, I can't do it. I don't love him. I'll be miserable forever." Jake didn't hesitate. "Then we leave tonight. Pack a small bag with only what you need. We run away from this life and we never look back." I gasped. "Are you serious? We would lose everything." Jake replied, "No, Emma, we would gain everything. Be at your window at midnight." At exactly midnight, I saw a shadow in the garden. It was Jake. I climbed out of my low first-floor window, my heart pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. We ran through the dark fields to the train station, not stopping until we saw the lights of the platform. We boarded the first train heading north, watching the city lights disappear. For the first time in my life, I was scared, but I was also truly free. As the train moved through the silent, dark night, I looked at Jake. He looked tired but determined. "I thank you for saving me," I whispered. Jake smiled that familiar, warm smile. "We are best friends, Emma. I made a promise to you a long time ago. I will always help you, no matter what." We traveled for many hours, switching trains and buses until we reached a tiny, picturesque village called Willow Creek. It was far away from the world of skyscrapers and boardrooms. As we walked through the cobblestone streets, we saw a small, charming bakery. The smell of fresh bread filled the morning air. An old woman with silver hair and bright, kind eyes stood outside sweeping the path. Jake approached her politely. "Excuse me, ma'am, could we buy some bread? We've traveled a long way." The woman, whose name was Margaret, looked at our messy clothes and our tired faces. She didn't see two runaways, she saw two children who needed help. "Of course, dear, but you look like you need more than just bread. Come inside and sit by the fire." Inside, the bakery was warm and smelled of cinnamon and yeast. Over hot tea, we told her our story. We told her about the forced marriage, the escape, and our lack of a plan. Margaret listened with a gentle smile. "You are brave," she said, "but the world is expensive and you have very little money." Jake nodded sadly. Then Margaret made a proposal that changed our lives. "Stay here. I am getting old and my joints ache. Help me run this bakery and I will give you a place to live and a small wage. What do you say?" We stayed. The work was hard, but it was the most rewarding thing I had ever done. Margaret taught us the secrets of sourdough and the art of delicate pastries. Every morning at 4 o'clock, Jake would wake up to start the ovens and knead the heavy dough. His arms grew strong, and he seemed to find peace in the rhythm of the work. I helped Margaret decorate the cakes and manage the shop. The villagers were kind and soon welcomed us as part of their community. Months passed, and the seasons changed. The fear of being found slowly faded, replaced by the joy of a simple life. One evening, a massive storm rolled over the valley. The wind howled like a wild animal, and the rain lashed against the windows. Jake and I were alone in the shop, trying to secure the shutters. Suddenly, a massive bolt of lightning struck a tree nearby. The sound was deafening, and every light in the village went out instantly. The bakery was plunged into total darkness. I have always been afraid of the dark, and in that moment, all my old anxieties came rushing back. I screamed and stumbled. "Jake, where are you?" I cried out. Within seconds, I felt his strong hands find mine. He pulled me into a tight embrace, shielding me from the sound of the thunder. "I'm right here, Emma. I've got you. Don't be afraid. I'm never going to let anything happen to you." Standing there in the dark, held in his arms, something shifted in my heart. The fear disappeared, but it wasn't just because the storm was fading. It was because I realized that Jake was my home. He wasn't just the friend who carried my books. He was the man who had given up his entire life just to make sure I was happy. I looked up at him in the shadows and whispered, "Thank you for always being here." He replied softly, "I will always be here for you, Emma, forever." After that night, everything felt different. I found myself watching him as he worked, noticing the way he smiled at the children who came for cookies or the way he hummed while he baked. I realized I was deeply in love with him, but I was terrified to speak. What if he only saw me as a sister? What if telling him ruined the only good thing I had left? One night, we heard a commotion outside. 3 men, looking for trouble, were trying to break into the village store next door. Jake went out to stop them, and I followed, terrified. One of the men pushed Jake hard, and he fell against the stone pavement. I screamed for help, and suddenly the villagers came running out of their homes with sticks and lanterns. They surrounded the men and chased them away. The village chief helped Jake up and said, "In Willow Creek, we protect our own. You are one of us now." That night, as I was cleaning a small cut on Jake's forehead, the silence between us grew heavy. "I was so scared," I admitted, my voice breaking. "I can't imagine my life without you." Jake took my hand, his eyes searching mine. "Emma, I didn't just run away with you because we are friends. I ran away because I love you. I think I've loved you since we were children, but I was always afraid of your father and your world. Here, in this little village, I finally feel like I can say it." Tears of pure joy ran down my face. "I love you too, Jake. I've been so scared to tell you." He leaned in and kissed me softly, and in that moment, the last pieces of my old life fell away. We were no longer runaways, we were a family. 2 years later, with Margaret's blessing and the help of the villagers, we opened Emma and Jake's Bakery. It was a beautiful little shop with blue shutters and flowers in the windows. Our bread became famous across the county. We got married in the small village church, surrounded by the people who had become our true family. Margaret sat in the front row, crying happy tears. 4 years passed quickly. We were blessed with a beautiful daughter named Rose. She had my eyes and Jake's mischievous smile. She spent her days covered in flour, helping us bake cookies and bringing joy to everyone she met. One sunny afternoon, Rose came running into the back of the shop, her face lit up with excitement. "Mommy, a tall man gave me these chocolates. He's waiting outside." My heart skipped a beat. I walked to the front door, wiped my hands on my apron, and stopped dead. Standing there, looking older and much more tired, was my father. I froze, a flash of fear returning. Was he here to take me back? But as he looked at me, I saw no anger in his eyes, only tears. "Emma," he said, his voice cracking, "I have searched for years. I went to every city, every hospital. I finally heard of a famous bakery in a small village while I was traveling for business. I had to see if it was you." He took my hand, his fingers trembling. I am so sorry. I was a foolish man who valued money over my own daughter's heart. Seeing you here, seeing how happy you are, I realize I almost destroyed the most precious thing I had. I looked at Jake, who stood behind me, and then at Rose, who was hiding behind my skirt. I realized I didn't feel any more anger. I forgive you, Dad, I said, pulling him into a hug. He stayed in the village for a week, playing with Rose and even trying to learn how to knead dough with Jake. When he left, he told me, "You make the right choice, Emma. You follow your heart. That takes courage." My name is Emma Miller. I ran away from a wedding, but I found a life. I found that home isn't a big house or a pile of money. Home is the person who stays by your side when the lights go out. This is my story, and this is my happy ending. Now it's your turn. Go back to the beginning of this expanded story. Practice shadowing every single sentence. Focus on the long descriptions and the emotional dialogues. Practice every day, and you will see your English transform into something beautiful and confident. Keep practicing, and I will see you in our next slow English lesson.